Happy Cinco de Mayo! And we can't be talking about Cinco de Mayo without talking about beer. And this is a home brewing channel, so we're talking about craft beer. So throw your Pacificos and Coronas to the side and try one of these out. If we haven't met before, my name is Victor, and this is my channel. We got 10 craft beers for Cinco de Mayo for you today. If you find value in this video, please like and consider subscribing for more content just like this in the future. This is a little bit of a change up on our normal homebrewing content, so let me know your thoughts in the comments down below if you like this format. Well, let's get started. All right. We got 10 craft beers for Cinco de Mayo here. Okay, we're gonna start off with Sublime Mexican Lager from AleSmith, brewery located here in San Diego. Looks very nice, crystal clear. We got 10 beers here, so I'm not going to drink all 10 of these beers at one time. So I have some assistance. So COVID and everything split the beers into 3 different glasses for us to taste. Appearance. I mean, if we're talking Mexican lager, I mean, I don't know how you get any better than that. It's pretty crystal clear, right? What do you think?
I'm not a big fan of the smell of it.
It's pretty boring smell-wise. There's no off smells. It just smells like nothing. I'll throw a 7.5.
Stick to a 7. Taste is pretty good though. Doesn't jump out at me.
Like, honestly, is Pacifico or Corona better than this? Maybe.
Hard to tell without a lime.
We don't have limes, right? Alright, well, it is what it is. We're judging the beer the way it is. So,
I mean, I could definitely drink this all day on a Saturday or something.
Yeah, this is totally an all-day drinkable. Like, I consider this like even like a pre-game tailgate beer. You drink a ton of these on a hot day, no problem. There's nothing wrong with it. So drinkability, I feel like there's some room for improvement. Like, it's not perfect, but it's very good and drinkable. Taste, I don't know. It's just like boring to me. There's nothing wrong with it.
Well, my thing is, like, it's obviously not gonna be like super awesome.
We'll see. I mean, we can go back and when we drink these other ones, go back and make an adjustment and say, hey, you know, this is a Mexican style lager as well, but I prefer this one a lot better taste wise. You know, aftertaste.
Is that just like how long it's staying on your tongue afterwards? Or like if it gives you a bad taste afterwards?
Yeah, it's not necessarily length of time, but that aftertaste that is there, is it pleasant? Do you like it? Not. I'd say I'd give it, for me, it's like a 20.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
I wasn't a fan of it.
Of the aftertaste?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What did you give it?
Popped it down to a 10.
10, okay.
Damn, Jen's harsh.
Any specific comments about it?
It was just a weird lingering taste.
Okay,
in
weird.
my opinion.
Yeah, it's got the.
Here, I'll write that down. Strange lingering.
To me, it just really follows what a Pacifico tastes like.
Yeah, there's nothing special about it. Like, I don't know. Okay, so we got another lager for you here. This is LLORONA from Ogopogo Brewery. Another Mexican lager. But let's give her a try. Appearance, I mean, I'm gonna give it a 10 again. It's like, there's nothing wrong with it.
I mean, based on Jen's glass. Yeah.
Smell? There's less of a smell in this one.
Yeah.
No, I feel like I smell it.
I think it's
really get your nose in there. Just shove it down there.
I think it smells more like I was expecting for a Mexican lager.
Yeah. No.
Slightly better than.
I'll give it.
I think it's better than the Sublime.
I'll give it 8.5.
Yeah, I like this aftertaste a lot better.
I actually think the other one has more drinkability.
I think this one does.
You know,
in my personal opinion.
No, you're allowed to be wrong.
Based on the aftertaste.
I was gonna say the aftertaste falls, and it just like is over.
Yeah. Exactly.
There's nothing lingering there.
More than comment. What's wrong with me?
Fucking drink.
think it's way better, in my personal opinion. But
everyone has a different palate. So if you like this beer better,
it's true. It's true.
I'm so good
Taste is way better. Yeah, aftertaste.
another Mexican lager. This one is from 21st Amendment. It's called El SULLY, which is another California beer. Boom. Does this one look better than the last?
I don't see how that can keep happening.
I honestly
But
think
it
this
does.
one.
Yeah, that's like, I can see those sombreros. Like,
I'm giving this one a 10.5.
I've got to change my scores. Like,
I do think this one is clear.
I guess I didn't know what appearance was until now. Because that's beautiful.
But this is
Yeah.
Korea style
Sorry, guys.
clear. I mean, I think,
Change my score.
but that is pretty freaking clear. Let's divvy it up. Hopefully it's not lacking in flavor. Smell. I think there's even less smell.
It smells more like the Sublime.
You're right. It smells more like Sublime.
Yeah, it's got less body than Prairie, maybe.
This beer compared to the first two is almost like nothing.
The aftertaste doesn't hit you until like 2 seconds after you take a drink, too.
This beer is so smooth, but there's also almost like no flavor to it. Like it's super smooth, almost no flavor to it.
Maybe that's why it's so clear.
I mean, the drinkability on this is like 30 out of 30. Aftertaste is almost non-existent. Taste, I don't know if there's really a taste, so it's hard for me to give it a high score on taste. Like, it's super clean. There's no off flavors. I would almost say if you're trying to just like drink all day and pound back some Mexican cervezas on Cinco de Mayo, I don't know if you're gonna find a better option than this. I mean, it tastes good. There's just not like an overwhelming amount of flavor. It's still 4.8% alcohol. I think it's almost the perfect Mexican lager if you're just trying to pound back beers and drink all day. I mean, maybe I could appreciate a little bit more flavor than this. So,
oh wow, it really doesn't taste like anything.
Right?
right? It's like super clean.
Yeah.
It's refreshing. I wouldn't necessarily put it in like super crisp category.
No.
I guess what I would maybe compare this to is like some people like German Helles style, where you go, hey, the best German Helles is one that you drink in like 4 of them, and then you haven't even noticed, and you're like, I just drank 4 Helles because they're just like good, and there's like, I don't know. I'd rather have a really,
yeah.
I'd rather have like a really good German Helles than this, but this is, I mean, I would pick this. If I was going to pick one of the 3 beers so far that we've had to drink all day, I would probably pick this.
I would definitely pick Urona.
Yeah.
I just prefer, I guess, if it's more full body.
I wanted a little something.
Yeah,
like this
right.
is just too nothing.
It's nothing.
It's one
It's
note.
so
It's nothing, but I don't want to have nothing. Like I
Yeah.
want to enjoy something of
Right.
it.
I think I would get
Nothing's
tired of, you know what, I think the ale, the Sublime reminds me too much, even though it's not a Pilsner and it's Mexican lager or whatever, I think it reminds me too much of like the American macro beers. That's the problem with the first one, even though it's a Mexican lager, it reminds me too much of big American macro beer. And then Urona is a little bit different than that, but still. So far, that's the highest on my list. What do you know? We got another Mexican lager on our hands here. This is from Calidad Beer, and it's Alo Hecho Pecho. It's a quality Mexican style cerveza. How bad could it be?
That's more on the La Llorona level clear. That's not quite on the El SULLY clear.
It's not quite
Good.
all solely clear,
good.
but
It's still
good.
very clear. Yeah.
very clear. I will say that one also poured like the most perfectly out of any of them.
Pretty good.
I think so. I don't know if it has to do with the beer or me, but obviously good carbonation head. Looks delicious. Let's give it a try. It's got a little straw-like color, pretty clear.
Nutty? Yeah. Ready for the almonds? Legit.
This one does smell a little bit different than the other ones. I don't know what the deal is. Maybe I'll look online and see what it's made with, if there's anything like unusual outside the normal style guidelines for this.
Oh yeah, what is this?
It definitely tastes different, but it's not unpleasant.
I prefer the taste.
It actually tastes better than it smells.
Yeah.
It tastes better than it smells for sure.
That was scary to begin with.
So for smell, I'm gonna dock it a couple of. It's not like an appealing smell, like 6.5.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just me, and maybe they wanted it to smell like that. I can imagine, but appearance. I mean, it's got a good appearance. I'm gonna give it a 9. Taste is. It's a good taste.
Good.
I think the taste on this is actually better than a lot of the other ones. Aftertaste, there's like I'll give it just like a 20 because there is like
It's not much.
maybe that's
Caught something.
no. It's like, do I want an aftertaste that's good? Like stay on
I
my palate?
prefer a good aftertaste, so I'm ranking this off of how it sits. If there's not much, you don't get much of a score.
But it's good.
Wait,
like
what?
the aftertaste on this is good. Some of the other ones,
What do you mean?
Like
good?
how?
like it's pleasant. Like I like when it's sitting there. Like
What's wrong with me? I don't like this one.
like the AleSmith. I mean, everyone has their own test. Like the AleSmith had that kind of.
Oh,
I don't want to say
girl.
skunky, but it kind of had that
It was
macro,
yeah.
a little skunky macro American beer, like whatever. This is like, and I want that aftertaste to go away. For this one, it's like I like the aftertaste. Okay, I'm gonna go back and say this is so far my favorite of the Mexican lager. So I think
Wow, I just don't like to smell it in while I'm drinking it.
I still like the.
you're right. Like the smell is one thing off-putting.
I still like the sad story beer.
Me too. That's been my ultimate favorite. So
What is with this smell?
I don't know.
According to
This
my
like
brain math. That
But if
got
it was in
93%.
a can and I was drinking out of the can, I probably wouldn't smell it.
you're right.
very
You
true.
probably wouldn't, but you
Yeah.
probably also wouldn't taste it as much either.
Boom.
Dropping taster knowledge.
Okay, is this like a can only beer?
It's
like
a can only beer.
Krista's can only.
Can only beer.
Can only line. Yeah, you're right. Like if the smell was better, I just don't know why. There's something about you're right. It's almost like almondy.
Yeah, I'm getting straight up almond, and I don't know why.
I'm also very impressed by your palate.
But there's not. But,
Probably.
but there's no almond taste to it.
Mm-mm.
Okay. We got another Mexican lager, but this time we got a dark Mexican lager, and this one is from North Coast Brewing. This is called Laguna Baja. All right. Mexican dark lager, here we come. This one's gonna be a different color. Oh my gosh, it's a
Wow.
shell shock.
Looks like a stout in comparison, but still clear. I mean, not clear, but.
Alright, I'm guessing this one's gonna have a little bit more intense flavors.
I'll have a bite to it.
The other beers on a warm day look more inviting. Like on like a real hot
Yes.
sun, I'm grabbing that.
Agreed.
But in general, I would let's say this looks more appetizing. Like I was like, I'm gonna grab that. That's gonna have more flavor.
Put the head.
I want to drink that, right? And looking at it too, I mean, it's a dark lager, which obviously there's lots of different dark lagers, but the first thing that comes to mind is see a darker beer like that is a dark lager. You think like
Maybe
an amber ale or something like that. It's not quite reddish or brown ale, probably. All right, let's give it a whirl. It definitely has a little bit more of a like caramely sweet note to it in terms of the smell. Is that better? I don't know. I don't really like sweet beers in general or really caramely tasting beers. I don't think I necessarily like it. There is something to it though. Like that initial gulp, that flavor on your tongue is a little bit, it's got a little bit more of like a rich.
Yeah, rich is better than sweet.
It's not sweet. It's like
not
a little,
sweet.
Yeah.
it's like a little bit like a rich, I don't want to say roasty. It's not quite roasty.
It's on the way.
Kind of roasty.
Kind of like very lightly, like if any. I think that's like just like a touch of like, it's not necessarily like caramel, but it's like almost like burnt caramel, but very
Ooh, that's good.
like it's like a burnt caramel note, but very a hint of it, not very strong. Pretty drinkable. I mean,
It reminds me a lot of like a Newcastle.
Yeah,
You know.
it's a little bit like Newcastle,
right on the nose.
but I think it's crisper than Newcastle because it is a
Agree with
lager,
that,
right?
for sure. Yeah.
It's like
Tastes airier.
It's like light, a little bit lighter.
Lighter. I prefer this drinkability for sure.
I do too. I'm surprised by it.
It's very drinkable.
Like you want to think that it's going to be heavier because it's darker, but it doesn't feel much heavier.
The only thing is because we're not drinking water during all this, which might be weird.
Sure.
So it's like, it almost sits like the slight caramel note kind of like on the back corners of like right there. Just like, that makes it seem a little bit less drinkable for me.
I very much enjoy the smell while drinking. Very good.
Very inviting.
It matches pretty well too.
Laguna Baja is a classically styled Vienna lager in the Mexican mode. Rich, dark amber with a malty aroma and a full creamy body.
It is, I guess, creamy
is like mine. It's weird that you said like burnt caramel. It's like roasted caramel.
It's like very just a touch of it.
Yeah.
Though. It's like a hint.
Yeah, because it's not sweet, but it is like rich. Definitely rich.
I concur.
Aftertaste, I very much enjoy actually.
I liked it. I'm just gonna put a star by it.
I think it's way drinkable.
We got Stone Buenaveza, which is a combination of good and beer. It's the salt and lime lager, and Stone is absolutely one of my favorite breweries. So this is a beer that I've had a bunch of times before. It is great, and I'm guessing we're probably gonna enjoy this more than a lot of the other ones that we've had. Haven't had it this beer season. Is there beer season?
Yeah.
Maybe that's...
We haven't had it in this large of a bottle before.
If you think about it, in Southern California, Orange County, there's not really seasons, so we gotta go by beer seasons. So, here we go. Smells, you know what? The lime definitely jumps off on this one. This one...
Oh, wow.
Like right away, like you smell the lime on this. I mean, I don't know if you really smell salt. I don't smell salt.
No, just lime.
But you smell lime on it right away. So I want to really dig on this. Like aroma on this right away is like 9 or 10.
10. 10 plus.
The lime is pretty intense on this. So
definitely Michelada worthy. The lime really comes through.
The lime really shines through. It's very pleasant. I wonder if we added limes to these other beers, just like
how much would it improve? Well, that's what I said.
How would it improve? Like, would the flavors be similar to this? But the nice part about this is like you don't have to have a lime. You don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, no muss, no fuss.
No muss with a fuss. There's already a lime in it. But fresh lime, I probably prefer. Like anything fresh is better than what's already in it. Man, I don't know if I'm really getting salt.
I don't get salt, but I love this beer.
This beer is great. But it's definitely vastly different than any of the other ones we've tried because it's got that lime flavor in there. If anything, there's like just a hint of salt. Like it's almost non-existent. I don't even know why it's on the label, to be honest, because it's almost non-existent.
I agree with that.
But it's really good. The appearance on it is good. There's nothing, I mean, it's really clear. Looks almost like any of the other ones. The smell is super inviting, pleasant. Like you smell the lime right away. Makes you want to go in for a drink. Like you're thirsty, you want to quench that thirst. That lime hits you. You're like, I want to drink that. So, aftertaste, is there? No, I don't think there's.
It doesn't stick around for long.
I got more salt when I took a bigger gulp.
Never got it.
We got the secret weapon here. This is the wild card. So, we're going to add a little bit of this Michelada mix. And see how that goes. So let's go ahead and let's spice it up a notch.
Like, how clear is it?
And then we can add more as
a shot, basically.
Right?
Yeah. Ooh, it smells pretty good.
I think I want more mix.
Oh gosh, I do.
That sounded like a lot.
That sounded heavy-handed. Might be heavy-handed.
I would be careful.
At all?
I think I put a good amount in there.
Yeah, that's a lot more spicy. But I think this would be excellent like this with just a squeeze of lime. Just so look. Because now we got all this spice, so like I want a little bit of acidity to like balance some of that spice. So we have another beer for you. This time, not a Mexican lager. There's other beers you can drink on Cinco de Mayo other than Mexican lagers. And this time we are doing a Gose. But I know you're thinking Gose, that's not Cinco de Mayo. But this is mango tajin Gose. So I think this would be a great pick for like a curveball change-up Cinco de Mayo beer. So this is from Al Farm, Unique Fermentations, Mango Tajin Gose. Gose is a beer originated in Goslar, Germany. It usually is brewed with a high percentage of wheat dominant flavors, and Gose include lemon-like sourness, coriander, and a strong saltiness. We decided to change things up by using the Mexican seasoning Tajin instead of salt, and by using the addition of mango juice. So I'm not sure where this brewery is. It says Vista Beer, so probably Vista, California. So everything on the list, California. Sorry, you non-Californians, but maybe they distribute to an area near you. We're off of lagers, so we're not going to use...
Gose Goblet, right?
I mean, they both start with G, so why not? But there we go. That looks... There's not very much head on it, but, you know, it's a Gose, so... Alright, we got our Mango Tajin Gose. Definitely smell... I don't get so much mango on the nose. I smell the Tajin spices a little bit. A little sour. That's interesting. The smell is a lot more tense than the flavor. The flavor is actually pretty muted in terms of, like, it's actually super smooth drinking. It's not spicy at all. It's definitely not nearly as spicy as the Michelada that I just took. So it's a little bit sour.
Is it a sour?
Well, Goses are a little bit sour, but they're not like usually super sour. It's a little bit sour, but it's a little bit, I don't know if tangy is the right word.
I'd give it tangy for sure.
Like, so Goses are salty, so you definitely hit the head, nail on the head when you said salt. So it's got a little bit of salt. I taste the Tajin spice a little bit, but the Tajin spice is way more on the nose and the aroma than it is on the taste.
I like the aftertaste better than the taste.
The mango though, not very mango forward. It's very muted. But I think this would be like a really great Cinco de Mayo beer, like especially the change up for a Mexican lager. You throw one of these in there. It's super easy drinking on a hot day. If you like Tajin, you like Goses, Gose crazy. I don't know what to say. So the next beer we got is a Herradura Blonde Ale from the Brewery, which is in Placentia, California. And this is a beer that I've had a bunch of times before. It is very good. It's a blonde ale brewed with rice and lactose and with natural cinnamon and vanilla flavors added. 7.2% alcohol, so this is a little bit on the higher end of things. Should be delicioso, and I can't think of a better Cinco de Mayo beer than this one. So there we go. There's the pour. Obviously this is a blonde ale with a couple of things added to it, so it's not going to be that lighter color. And this beer just smells absolutely delicious.
Yeah.
Amazing. Man, this is...
Is there cinnamon in it?
Oh yeah, there's
Okay.
cinnamon. It's
I was like, because that's what I smell.
cinnamon. I mean, a little bit of like ricey vanilla.
So you get honey out of this at all?
No, I don't get honey. There's sweetness to it. It's totally different than anything else we've had so far. I think this is a beer that, if you can get it, you need to try it. If you think you like horchata, then there's no way you won't like this beer. If you don't like horchata, there's still a chance you might like this beer. I don't know what else to say about this beer other than drink it, because that's what I'm going to do right now. We got another non-Mexican lager Cinco de Mayo beer for you. And this is probably one that you can get in your area. This is Wild Little Thing by Sierra Nevada, which is one of the biggest craft breweries in America. And it's a slightly sour ale, which is not necessarily the reason why I picked it, but I picked it because it's a guava, hibiscus, and strawberry beer. So obviously hibiscus, guava, that kind of goes along with the Mexican theme here. So we're going to give this one a try. And this is one that you probably should be able to find in your shelves near you. Oh man, look at the color on this one. I wasn't sure what to expect with this, but it is definitely, I can smell it from here too. It's like visually appealing. I smell like the sweet berry from it. I don't really smell the sourness. I mean, it smells. It almost smells like a strawberry soda. It is slightly sour. It's not like overly sour. I don't even know if it's as sour as the Gose. It might be slightly less sour than the Gose. The Gose, when we drank it, was a little bit warmer though, so the sourness probably came through more. It's barely sour whatsoever.
Flat sour.
It might be as sour as the Gose, but it lasts less time maybe. Like the finish is pretty clean. As far as flavors go, I definitely get the strawberry. It's very hints of strawberry. I don't know about hibiscus though, and guava. Like,
Guava is very neutral.
The,
So that's probably where you get that.
The guava is very, very minimal. Hibiscus? I don't know. I don't know if I could pick hibiscus out of the lineup.
I feel like the finish has the hibiscus on it.
I almost need to look up hibiscus and see what the flavor profile is. Is hibiscus floral?
I feel like I've only
I
had
don't
a
know.
hibiscus tea, but that's the ending that I get on this. Is it tastes like a tea to me.
I could see that.
Yeah, I could see maybe like a slightly like strawberry sour tea, like kind of
Strawberry
taste.
on the front, guava in the middle, hibiscus on the back.
I definitely get the strawberry on the front for sure, like on the smell and the initial taste.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of fades into another fruity type flavor, which is slightly sour. I kind of maybe put toward the guava,
Mm-hmm.
and then maybe there's a slightly. It's some type of finish that's a little bit different. Maybe that's the hibiscus, but it's very faint and short. It's not like a long lingering. So even if you're not someone who drinks sour beers, like a sour ale, you can totally drink something like this.
Yeah.
It's not. I would not like just because it's the sour on the label, and you might say, "Oh, I don't like sour beers." You might stray from this, but I'm telling you, give this a try. You might like it because it's just a very slight touch of sour. It's not anything that's going to linger or put you off. It's less sour than the Gose that we had for sure. It's 5.5% alcohol, so it's not anything that's like super high in alcohol. Very refreshing. I would definitely substitute this for one of the Mexican lagers. I mean, if you're trying to drink a bunch of beers during Cinco de Mayo and you don't want to drink Mexican lagers all day, I would kick one of the Mexican lagers out, drink one of these. Would I drink 5 of these in a day? Probably not. Would I drink one of them? Of course, for sure. It's a good switch up. Give it a try. We got Prairie Artisan Ales XATA Horchata. So this is our second horchata beer on the list, but it's vastly different. The last one we had was a horchata blonde ale. This is a horchata imperial stout with cinnamon, vanilla, and sugar.
Is it Artisan Beer Company?
It's Artisan
Ales? Is that what you said?
Prairie Artisan Ales. This is by far the most expensive beer on the list, so let's see if it lives up to the hype. It's a 12-ounce beer. I think it was like $10 or something for this 12-ounce beer. It's in Oklahoma. Is this our only out of California beer? Oklahoma? Well, it definitely looks like a stout. There's no doubt about it. It's got a very dark, rich body to it. It's got a slightly brown head to it. It looks delicious. Let's give it a try. I smell the horchata-ness on the nose, even more than the horchata blonde ale. It's like more cinnamon jumping off of it for sure. You know, this is delicious. It's pretty intense cinnamon though. Like intense spice. Not just cinnamon, something else too. Cinnamon. Alright, so the flavor profiles of this beer is definitely your classic imperial stout. So it's got the roasty, very mildly roasty, but chocolatey, espresso, forward flavors. But on top of that, like that's more forward than any of them is for sure the cinnamon horchata flavor to it. And you're getting a little bit of booziness. And this is 10.8%, which is not out of the realms of the imperial stout. But this This here is your Cinco de Mayo nightcap. This is your dessert Cinco de Mayo beer. You're gonna finish your night out. This is the one you're gonna choose. 10.8% alcohol. You're not gonna drink this in the morning. You're not gonna drink this in the 3 p.m. 100-degree heat. You're drinking this when the temperature's dropping down, the lights are going low, and you are finishing off the night. This is what you're drinking. And I highly recommend this. Do not pass this up if you see this. Yes, it's a little bit on the pricey side, but when else are you gonna drink a cinnamon horchata imperial stout? So you see it on the shelf, grab it, give it a try. It's Cinco de Mayo, once a year. You got the money. You can afford the $10. Do it. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you found a new beer for Cinco de Mayo to try out. And until next time, thanks for watching.
Not because of you, but I don't like the mussel mix. I didn't even put it in my drink.
All right, that's what a wild card is. You never know if it's gonna be good or bad.